Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned into the best. Jazzy Fizzle Production. Sean Brown.
She like me, I kinda dig it, so I did my thing for her. She joining with me, now we getting groovy, hotter than jacuzzi. So shorty, won't you slow down? I see them other fellas and they hating. They try to do it like me, it ain't the same. Front to back, shorty, side to side, and lean with you with a soldier now. Cause you're so fly, girl. You should come to my crib, yeah. But we go flip on you. You were here, I'm tripping, but you should be my girl.
Hey, it's your girl Nay coming to you with another episode of As Told by Nay the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's talk about it. Boy, I wish that I could spend time with you each and every day. Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Welcome back to another conversation on As Told by Nay the podcast. Hope everybody week been good. My week has been pretty good. I can't complain, not at all. Really looking forward to my vacation starting next week. Much needed. I'm going to not do any work. I'm not going to deal with anything. Remember we were talking last week about, doing things that make you happy, doing things for you. And I said traveling is definitely one of my escapes. I got to get away for a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I leave tomorrow and I'm going to be checked out for a little bit. I'm excited. But anyway, let's get it started. Today's conversation, we're going to keep it on the serious tip. I know last week I was talking about some pretty serious, heavy stuff, and the conversation continues. Not from last week, but the heaviness a little bit. But very much needed. This conversation and this dialogue is definitely needed. So grab your people, grab your friends, grab your family, whoever, sit down, and let's talk about it. I'm not drinking. I told y'all that. So I still want to do my little toast, at the beginning, but it's more so of a salute. And what that looks like this week is I want to salute feeling safe as a woman. There's been a lot of conversation about the safety of women lately. And I talked a little bit about it, but didn't want to go too much into it because that's just a whole nother situation. But we're gonna dissect that a little bit today. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to all the men in my life for making me feel safe and protected as a woman. Shout out to my father, shout out to my uncles, shout out to my cousins, my brothers, homeboys. I never have to worry about my safety when I'm with them. I never have to worry about being disrespected. I never have to worry about none of that. Like, they love on me the way that I need to be loved. They make sure that I feel safe. And shout out to y'all because y'all the real MVPs. Thank you. Big thanks. With that being said, if I had to give tonight's conversation a title, I would say your mother is a woman too. We definitely gonna dissect these men, and just the vibe that y'all give women. So earlier this week, one of my friends sent me a post, and she basically was like, can we talk about this on your show this week? I'm not writing you a letter. Let's just talk about this post. And I'm going to read to y'all what the post said. So the post saw TikTok that said, what would you do if there were no men on earth for 24 hours? And then someone screenshotted the comment section. And I'm just going to read to you some of the comments. I ain't even going to read all of these because definitely it's heartbreaking, honestly. When I first read that, before looking at the context of it, I was like, 24 hours. What would I do if it was no men on earth? I'm thinking self-care because I'm just in the mindset of self-care these days. So I'm like, okay, I'm going swimming, I'm going to the spa. Like literally it had nothing to do with men not being around, but more so what can I do to relax, you know? So reading some of these comments and seeing where other women's minds went can definitely shed light on the fact that women just don't feel protected by men, period. And that is very sad. So she said one woman said she would run around at night blasting music into her headphones without feeling the need to take one out. That's terrible that she feels like she can only do that if there were no men around. Another woman said, ride bikes with my best friend at night without our guy friends having to be there for safety on a Saturday night wearing whatever I want. Again, sad case. Go on a walk alone at night or ride my bike alone. A massive picnic with my girls at late night, sleep under the stars. I'd wear whatever I want outside without being scared. Like, this is the stuff that women are saying in regards to not having to have men around them. Wear an actual bathing suit and go to the beach. Like, that is sad that women feel not safe when men are around. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about sexual abuse, sexual assault, women just not feeling safe in general with men. We're going to talk about how normalized it has become for inappropriate behaviors. And y'all don't get upset because this isn't just like an attack on the men. I'm definitely not just attacking you fellas. But this is a conversation we definitely need to have because there are a lot of women that just feel like they are not safe in the presence of men. And that's terrible because when you think about the title that I gave this conversation, your mother is a woman too. Like, the things that you say to other women, the way that you treat them is not the way that you treat your mom. It's not the way that you treat your grandmother, your sister, your cousin. I mean, shit, well, maybe, but I would hope not. So let's talk about it. Where do we begin with that? So first of all, I posted on my Instagram and Facebook. I reposted that post, and the females that follow me, they weren't so quick to answer on the post, but they DM'd me, and it brought about the conversation and the dialogue of why they don't feel safe and why that comment section was the way that it was. Fellas, when it comes to how y'all talk to women and approach women, like from Jump Street, when y'all are younger, it's like a cool thing to like spit game. It's a cool thing for y'all to have like hella women, you know, be at girls all the time, right? And so that definitely pours over when you become an adult. Like, it's practice habits, right? And so the dialogue then went to, you know, in talking to some females in regard to, you know, this post, going to the club. Women feeling like, I want to be cute. I want to wear, you know, my fitted dresses. I want to wear my skirts. And then being attacked, groped, pulled, yelled at. Like, fellas, there is really no, like, I don't even know what to call it, but it's like deemed acceptable in that setting. And what's terrible about that is you'll hear the conversation go to, oh, well, she was dressed like that, so she wanted that type of attention. Or she was dressed like that, what did she expect was going to happen? Or she was dressed like that, you know, showing it to the world, so why not touch it? Why not? You know, and it's just like, really? So women are not able to dress the way that they want to because that's deemed as what? Giving y'all the green light to grope and pull and yank. And God forbid the woman say, don't touch me, or I don't want to talk to you, or no, thank you. Now she all kind of bitches and hoes, and y'all doing too much. And again, I say y'all and collectively, but clearly all men don't behave in this manner. But it's a lot of y'all that do. And then that took the conversation even further, because a lot of guys will say, well, how are we supposed to keep women safe? What are we supposed to do? Y'all will sit back and watch y'all homeboys do stuff like this and don't say nothing. Y'all will condone the foolishness, laugh, crack jokes with him. That in itself, like, it's just as bad. You might as well grab her butt yourself. You might as well, be inappropriate physically, just like he was, because you condoning it. You're not checking him. You're not telling him to fall back. But let somebody do that to your mother. Let somebody do that to your sister. Y'all all in. And that's why, too, I could say, big shout out to the men in my life, because not only would they protect me, my cousins, my sisters, but they also will protect other women that they see. Other women that may be subjected to, inappropriate behaviors. It's not normal for the men in my life. They're not standing for that. And so, big up to them boys. Big up to them boys, because that's what we mean when we say protect us. Don't normalize inappropriate behaviors. On top of me asking directly about, that post, and, I put out a poll, right? So we're going to dissect this poll into two parts. So the first part of the poll that I put up on both Facebook and Instagram was, I asked if is there ever a time that no actually means yes? And on Instagram, 55% said yes. 45% said no. Now, of course, I know with everything, there has to be like context behind someone's, opinion of something, or why they say the things that they say. So the people that were saying yes, there is times that no actually means yes. Okay, what's up? Let's talk about it. What do you mean by that? When is no yes, right? And I guess I have to be grateful for, the type of friends that I have, because they're going to keep it a buck. And the common dialogue that I was getting surrounding that answer was definitely in a sexual manner. And to say that, sometimes women will say no, but their body language is saying yes. I'm going to actually read directly a comment. Shout out to my cousin, longtime supporter, always, down to have dialogue with me as I prepare for my shows. What up, Nick? This was Nick's response. It's something about the tone in a no that tells you it's really not a no. Like they say no, but their body language and vibe says yes. Almost like they're giving you permission to give them permission to act on something. Just like when she tells you to leave and you ask, you really want me to leave? And she yells yes, but the second you put your hand on the doorknob, she mad you really finna leave. Now, I can say, this has definitely been true to a certain extent, right? To the point where I have tried to get away from actually that narrative. Because for me personally, there's never a time that no actually means yes. And I'm just going to say that. There's never a time that no actually means yes. Although I get what you guys are saying, sometimes women do like to play hard to get, or sometimes, and if it's your partner, you kind of know when they in the mood and when they're not, or when they just, trying to spice it up a little bit with that. But the reason why I say we have to get away from that narrative is because sexual abuse and sexual assault happens more often in like committed relationships and like from people that you know personally than it does with other people. And it's because I feel like that narrative right there where women may actually not be in the mood and the answer is no, but because they're in a relationship with this guy, they almost feel obligated to do it, or he almost feels obligated to have it. Like, yeah, you saying no, but you my girl, so you got to. Or you saying no, but you my wife, so let's get it. And the woman will feel like that too, as crazy as that sounds. Now, I'm not speaking to, the percentage of people where women like, nah, if I say no, it's a no. I don't care if I'm your wife or not. Cool. But there's a large percentage of women that ain't how they moving. They saying no, and he's not taking no for an answer, and he gonna make it do what it do anyway. What do you do with that? Where do you go with that? It's almost kind of conflicting and confusing for a woman in a position, because again, you almost feel obligated, to make that happen. Now, I can't say that's never happened to me in that regard. There's definitely been times where my no probably meant yes. But shout out to them boys, because it was never taken that way. I would have to tell them, no, I'm just playing. Like, okay, no, it's cool. Because I don't know. And again, like I said, I'm trying to change that narrative for me personally, because we got to get away from that being the thing to do. Because what happens? You groom people to feel like what you're doing or what they're doing is acceptable. So when they're not with you, they're doing it again. Or this looks familiar, so I can do it, right? Wrong. But I definitely appreciate, the feedback that I got from that. A lot of people, were on that same thing where no mean no, but if you, having relations with somebody that you know, or that's your partner, but even still then, like, if she says no, it's no. Unless she say no, you fall back, and then she give you the green light, like, no, okay, I wasn't really saying no. But ladies, let's challenge ourselves to get away from that dialogue. I mean, that narrative anyway. Like, there's other ways to play hard to get. There's other ways to be enticing. There's other ways to tease. You don't have to be like, no. You don't have to be like rejecting him. But maybe just flirt, play it off a little bit, do something, maneuver around, move away, but don't make it like a thing where you're telling him no, or you're saying it's not a go as a way of trying to make him make it a go. Like, let's get out of the habit of doing that. And that's just me. Again, to each his own. You do what you want. Hopefully, your partner does not take that elsewhere and be out here doing too much, or in a situation where he ends up with someone else, and for her, she's not that strong-minded person. She's not that person that can say no and mean no, but when she say no and mean no and he say yes, she can't stop him, or doesn't feel comfortable stopping him. Because again, a lot of the ways that men treat us and how we don't feel safe, and I'm gonna just say it, a lot of other women have groomed these men to think that behavior is acceptable. And it's been normalized because of other women, like, allowing it. They do what we allow them to do to us. So let's try and change that narrative, ladies. Let's be a little more firm in how we allow these men to maneuver. And I mean, and that goes the same way for guys too. Like, you have so many men who are in that situation and they feel almost demasculated because they not wanting to do something, or they ain't with it, and the female hella aggressive, and she like, nah, like, we about to do this, and he don't want to look at it like, he backed down, or just like feeling like he can't, as a man, really say no. That's crazy. Or like something will happen to them. It happens in the workplace all the time. It happens with, we did a segment on this a little while ago about like teachers and students, or like coaches and students, and just that whole level of power and how that looks, and how men in those situations feel off, feel awkward, but will not say anything or will not stop it because that's not what you're supposed to do as a man. Or they won't report it. You know, men get raped all the time and they won't report it because why? Oh, you wasn't able to fight a woman off, or they feel like they're going, you know, it's going to be a crazy situation trying to explain it, or, you know, they're going to be looked at some type of way. We got to change the narrative for you guys too, fellas. Tell her no. Tell her no and feel strong about telling her no. Move her hand and feel strong about moving her hand. We gotta shift that. People only do to us what we allow them to do, and we have to change the narrative. Okay. The second piece of that poll, I also asked the people. Oh man, where'd it go? Gotta read it. I asked the people, you witness a woman being assaulted on the street. Are you helping or are you minding your business? 85% said they're helping. 15% said they're minding their business. Now, of course, again, I had to ask the people, well, context, please. You see somebody being assaulted and you minding your business. Why? What does that look like? And, you know, for the sake of conversation, shout out to Miss Brittany White, another one of my big supporters. Love her to death. She always participates in my polls that I put out, and she's always willing to have dialogue with me about her response. And she said, she was one of the people that said, you know, she's minding her business. And her reasoning was, I have intervened before and the girl turned on me. I also called the police and tried to give a statement and the girl lied. So I would mind my business, but I would observe and call for help if it got serious. Yo, sad to say, although the number, you know, like on the poll, it was 15%, that 15% was a lot of people though. You know, shout out to my boy Vince as well. We had this dialogue and he pretty much was saying the same thing. Like, you try to intervene on some domestic violence type stuff and the girl turn on you. Now they jumping you, or, you know, or you, cause he's, you know, he's a guy. Like, I could intervene, sure. And then the tables get turned. Or like Brittany was saying, now you in a situation where they lying, or now you caught up in something because you were trying to be a good Samaritan. And I get it. I definitely get it. But for me, I just feel like you can intervene from a safe distance. I don't think I would ever physically intervene if I saw somebody, you know, getting beat up on the street or something was happening, just because I'm a woman. And at the end of the day, I don't care how big or small a man is still a man. And that man's strength is probably going to be outpowering mine. And if he mad or he, you know, on something, whatever the case may be, he's in the middle of trying to hurt somebody, I'm not going to give him the opportunity to hurt me. But I may be from a safe distance call the police. I may, you know, cuckoo, shorty, you good? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, not that it's like your job. Ain't nobody telling you to be out here be like super save a hoe, but, you know, to be able to just send help, and whether, you know, send the, what is it called when you're in the pool? Safety raft. And whether she get on it or not, you know, it's her business, but at least you tried. Again, I would never physically like jump in the fight, but I'll probably call the police and be like, yo, it's a disturbance over here on such street. Come get them. This is what they look like, you know, and let them handle it from there. Or I would, depending on who I'm with, send the homie or somebody over there to check it out a little bit. Unless I knew her. If I knew her, then all hands on deck. We about to jump this dude. we definitely about to jump him. But, you know, I feel like that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. That whole domestic violence thing. It just looked a little different. And Vince, we were talking about that like literally as I was pulling up to the studio. It just hit different. When you're in that moment and you're a victim of domestic violence, the way you handle it, if you're not ready to be done with it, is definitely going to be toxic and unhealthy. So anybody that's trying to help a situation like that, probably not going to go the way you think it should, but at least you tried. No, maybe. Y'all talk to me. How y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about them numbers? How y'all feel about them numbers as far as no meaning yes, and are you helping someone that needs help? Drop it in the comments. Talk to me. What y'all doing? For those of you that did not respond to the polls, like, are you helping someone that needs help? Are you in a situation if somebody tells you no? Like, how y'all dealing with that? And I'm gonna leave that right there, because it kind of leads definitely right into this next little part. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of information about Stockholm syndrome. So what is that, right? And I'm gonna read you the definition. Shout out to Jazz. I'm shouting out all my people on this episode, everybody that kind of helped me prepare for this conversation, because y'all was just dropping gems all week and didn't even know y'all was dropping gems and was helping me get it together. So Stockholm syndrome is a condition in which hostages develop a psychological alliance with their captors during captivity. Emotional bonds may be formed between captors and captives during intimate time together, but these are generally considered irrational in light of the danger or risk endured by the victims. So, got a story for you guys, definitely on the lines of this. One of my old professors and mentors and long-term dear friend, Dr. Jones, may she rest in peace. I remember sitting in the lecture hall and her coming in. It was in our human sexuality course, human sexuality in psychology. And she began to introduce herself and give us a little bit of background on her. And halfway through the conversation, she got a call from her daughter. And so, she stops, takes the call, and she's like, her husband had just gotten out of surgery. She needed to take the call, blah, blah, blah. Everything's good. So she comes back and she was like, in a joking manner, I don't think I would have been sad if he died. And everybody's face was just kind of like, well, what? Like, that's your husband. And, as we got closer and I was, working with her on a more personal level, she was no longer my professor. We had a conversation about that comment. I brought it back up to her again. And she would always say, like, we'll talk about it when the time is right. So once we were no longer affiliated as student and professor, we were able to have the conversation, right? And she had told me how she had met her husband when she was in college. And they were friends for a long time, like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. Senior year, she pledged, they both crossed or whatever. And hanging out one night, got drunk at a frat party. He ended up saying he couldn't drive, so she took him home with her. And he forced himself on her, right? He ended up forcing himself on her. She said no. But this was not even like a flirtatious no. This was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't see you like that. We friends. Get off me. And he proceeded to, in his drunken state, rape her. Flat out, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. He raped her. The result of that was her daughter. She got pregnant. And, she was talking about how the next day he was just very apologetic. He didn't, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I was drunk, blah, 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 whatever. And because they were friends for so long, and because, she was like, well, maybe I gave him the impression that I wanted something to happen. She victim shamed herself into believing that it might have been her fault that he did that. Moving later on down the road to find out that she was pregnant added to the situation, right? So now what do? You got a baby on the way from your rapist that you continue to be friends with because you felt like at some point, you gave him the impression that you wanted to be intimate with him. Okay, so now y'all end up being together. Y'all raise this kid, and then y'all get married. She married her rapist, and I stood there, mouth to floor, as she's telling me this story. Like, you married your rapist? What? And it just really goes back to, then she started dropping numbers on me, because again, I'm college age at this point, of how often stuff like that happens, and women just go with it. Yo, that's textbook Stockholm. Like, because you've built this relationship with this person, they rape you or they do something harmful to you, and you feel like it's okay because y'all friends, or maybe you deserved it, or maybe you gave the impression that it was okay. The craziest shit I've ever heard in my life, but it's real life. You see that so much in domestic violence relationships. Like, it sounds crazy, y'all. I know. And so many people will call these women dumb, stupid. Why would you put up with that? They honestly and truly believe like this person loved them. They did something to deserve it. They are at a point where they're just like numb to it, and they move. Shout out to Jazz too, because although her dropping the information about Stockholm Syndrome had nothing to do with a domestic violence relationship, she was more so referring to the fact that, Black people's pain being broadcast all the time on social media and in the media, to the point where it's like almost normalized. Like, us seeing over and over and over again Black men and women being killed for no reason, or being attacked, different thing, all these little babies that's like getting hurt, and people just keep sharing these videos, keep sharing this stuff, and it gets to the point where we're almost desensitized to it, because it just seems so normal. It's like a part of every day. Like, that too can be a form of Stockholm. Like, this is wrong, it's bad, but it's almost to the point where it's like, oh, well, dang, it happened again. That's crazy. You should never feel like that about no craziness happening. This too then kind of moves into, and I'm going to touch, and when I say touch, I'm going to touch lightly. Touch lightly on the Meg and Tory Lanez situation, because this has also been a conversation that's been being held a lot right now. Woo. So I was having this conversation with Ra. Shout out to Ra. He's definitely a big supporter, long-term friend. Forces and challenges my thoughts a lot. I'll think about something, we'll have conversation, and it's not just, oh, well, Nay said it, so that's what's up. Nah, why you think that? Well, what about this? Like, and I definitely appreciate that, because it does make you look at things in a different light. And, we were kind of dissecting the situation about, he said this, she said that, who came forward first, who said what. And he made a comment, about how she didn't say nothing right away, or like she was lying. And it just made me think about that. Like, if she's in a situation, and again, I don't want to talk too much in depth because I don't know these people for real, and I really don't even know what happened. I want to know. Tory done dropped the whole album saying he ain't do it, now he in jail. But we don't really know what happened. But it just kind of made me think, like, if it did and she's telling the truth, to feel like she care about this man or she loved this man, because allegedly they was in a relationship. She felt like, and she said this too on her live, like, trying to protect him. I didn't want to tell on him. I didn't want to get him in trouble. So I lied. I said this, I said that to protect him. That could be facts, because people do it all the time. All the time. Prime example, Brittany called the police on this situation happening, and old girl lied. You're not telling on your abuser. You're not telling on your attacker if you care about them, or you love them, or you feel like, we was having an argument, this how we handled it, something went crazy, and and shooting somebody is drastic. Like, that should never be the way that you handling no type of disagreement. But it could have happened that way. She could have felt like she was protecting him for real, like, because she cared about him. Why though? Why do we feel like we got to protect people that don't protect us? If somebody can shoot you, they don't care too much about you for you to be protecting me. Can't nobody shoot me because everybody going to jail right then. I'm telling you can't shoot me, and I feel like I gotta protect you. But sometimes that's the narrative. That sometimes people feel like that's what they gotta do. You know. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Uh, yeah, Dr. Jones' story. She ended up having 3 kids from this man, and they were married up until the time of her death. And I still like, you know, and Mr. Jones, he a real cool cat, real smooth brother. But I saw him in a different light after hearing that story, because it's just like, how do you assault somebody that you say you care about and that you love? Like, that's your friend for real. And you attacked her. You took something from her and justified it by saying you were drunk. It was a mistake. You know? So, along the lines of that, we're going to move into this whole cancel culture. What that looks like. So, boom. All this stuff, bring it back to Tory and Meg, right? All this stuff is happening with them. Bring it back to R. Kelly. All his, you know, messed up dealings and how he ain't protecting young girls and women. Boom. Take it back to Chris Brown. And, you know, the situation with Rihanna and, you know, all the other alleged women that he was not protecting. And people are quick to, do away with them. Let's not. First of all, y'all ain't do Tory how y'all did Breezy, and I don't know if I like that. But I'm gonna speak a little bit to the cancel culture. And listen here, before I say this, don't y'all flood my inbox with nothing. This is not up for debate. This is my feelings. This is my opinion. This is my perspective. Let me have that. And you do with what you want with yours. But I'm just gonna speak on my opinion for about this. I don't believe in the cancel culture. Like, for me, people's mistakes and the things that they do in their life does not change their talent. It doesn't change, you know, what they have provided to, you know, whatever area is their expertise, whether that's an artist, actor, athlete, whatever, you know. Do I agree with what Robert Kelly did in his spare time? Of course not. It's disgusting. It's sad. It is. It's a terrible thing. But have I stopped listening to his music? No. Do I agree with Chris Brown putting his hands on people? No. It's unacceptable. Like, there should never be a reason for you to feel like you need to put your hands on anybody. That's not your child. But I still bumps Breezy. I definitely still bumps Breezy. Do I agree with the Tory Lanez situation? If he did shoot her, unacceptable. There's no way to justify that. Like, at the end of the day, whatever the reasoning behind it was, it don't make no sense. And I don't even know what it is. You don't shoot nobody because you mad. But it doesn't take away from, you know, I think he's a very talented artist. Like, he got some hits, you know, and I still listen to Tory. Granted, that situation's still in the air, but you don't have to agree with a person in what they've done in their life to listen to their music or to watch their movies or, you know, whatever the case may be. And y'all could be upset about, that's how I feel. And that's just where I stand with it. And I've been very vocal about that with anything that happens, just like everybody makes a big deal about just whatever. I don't know. I'm not with the cancel culture. I feel like I'm still gonna listen to these music. I just don't agree with what they do as people. I don't know these people in real life. They're not my friends. Is it sad? Yes. Is it terrible? Of course. But you know, that's just my opinion on it. So with the whole cancel culture, y'all do what y'all do. I guess it makes waves. It brings light and awareness. That's what's up. If that's the goal, stopping their income. Okay. I can understand that. But I just don't participate in it. And, to each his own. I'm not knocking anybody that does. But somebody asked me about that. And I was like, you know what? I can address that because it is what it is. Like, I don't participate. I don't. And we're going to leave that right there. Moving right along. As we continue to talk about the whole women feeling protected and safe, something that came up was the misunderstanding of social cues and what friendship boundaries look like. This always makes me laugh because I feel like I'm one of those people that don't do good with social cues. It definitely can happen. Again, because I'm like that. I'm already kind of awkward. And kind of like not reserved, but I am. I be trying to tell people I'm shy and they don't believe me. And people closest to me will say that that's not true, but it is. I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of socially awkward. So normal social cues kind of go over my head a little bit. And so I was having this conversation with a guy that I know about moving from, we were talking about Dr. Jones's situation actually. And we were talking about how people are in this friend zone for so long. And then the woman, or even sometimes the man, will give a notion that they're trying to invite them out of there. And either they get it and it's great, or they miss it and then it's like weird. But then what happens when that's that person's personality and you miss that and you interpret it as a social cue of getting out of the friend zone, but that's not what they wanted. How do you get out of that? Like, what do you do with that? And so I was telling him, he was like, there's no way out of that. If Dr. Jones's husband felt like she gave him the green light, so he took it, you can't just stop. What? So I'm asking him, like, so you hanging with one of your friends and you feel like she's telling you it's a go, and she telling you, nah, that's not what I meant. Because you tried it already, you just gonna force the situation to happen? Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. To me, that is not a misinterpreted social cue. Like, that is just flat out wrong. No should always mean no. If y'all don't take anything from this conversation today, no should always mean no. Like, and fellas, do yourself a favor and do us a favor. Always operate that way. No means no. She say no, then it's no. And if she want it, she'll let you know, okay, I was just playing. Or she'll make a move on you because y'all was already there. But if she say no, take it at face value and leave it where it's at. It's better to be safe than sorry. That's how I feel about it. Let's be safe. If she say no, leave it where it's at. If he say no, leave it where it's at. And then, if they invite you further, then go for it. If they switch it up, then go for it. But initially, let's not even get in the habit of making that acceptable, that sometimes no can mean yes. Because again, we kind of groom people, to treat us. And when I say us, I mean collectively. Everybody different, but most times people do what has worked for them in the past. If a guy has pushed up on a female and she like, no, but then it worked and she's with it, he gonna try that again on another female. And when she's saying no, 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 he gonna keep it. You know what I'm saying? And that situation may be not what's up for her. Then what do you do? So I pose this question to you guys. What are you doing in that situation? Like, you in a situation kind of like Miss Jones, where you got a friend. Y'all kicking it as friends heavy. Y'all good. Friendship dope. And then and this goes for male and female. So we gonna unisex this thing. Either the woman crosses the line in an inappropriate manner, or the fella crosses the line in an inappropriate manner. What are you doing? How do you fix that? Are you calling the police on them? Are you just letting it happen and then deading it after that? What are you doing? How are you dealing with that? Y'all talk to me. Let me know. What's your thoughts on that? You saying no, and they just gonna make you do what they want you to do. But that's your people. That's your friend. And even in relationships too. I can't even say how many of the people that answered this poll, that was their response. Like, there's plenty of times where no was no for me, and my husband still did it. Hey, that's not okay. Why has that become a normal thing? Like, how y'all feel about that? I can't be the only one that thinks like this. I can't be. Y'all let me know. How y'all feel about that? What y'all thinking? I feel like if I try to push up on somebody and they like no, I might try it again just to be like, all right, it's really no. Like, oh, okay. But after that second time, okay, cool. It's no. That's it. I ain't trying no more. Like, I'm definitely not going to force myself. I mean, I don't think I could. I'm not aggressive anyway, but you know, it would make me very uncomfortable to keep trying to mess with somebody that's like, no, I don't want it. Don't touch me. Like, at that point, it becomes a psychological problem, because now you getting off on the sheer power, the helplessness of that other person, you know, the fight. Like, and that's weird, number one. And that means something is psychologically wrong with you. And again, not to take away from, I know there's hella women that do that as being kinky. Like, oh, I'm playing hard to get. I'm being a little, you know, okay, it's different, but it's not, you know. And I can say all day, just be aware of the differences. But at what point does that become the difference for this woman? But this next woman you try that on, she really mean no, but she don't know how to let you know that it's a no. And y'all can say she should be stronger or she should stand up for herself all you want to. The truth of the matter is, there are a lot of women out there that don't do that. And they can't do that, or they don't feel safe to do that. So let's just be mindful of that, guys, and women. Again, I don't like to put it all on the fellas all the time, but I don't know, that post in those comments, really, it was really heartbreaking that so many women feel like if they had 24 hours on earth without males, their first thought is their safety. That's terrible. That's terrible. Like, fellas, how do y'all feel about that? I don't know if any of you guys saw that post floating around, but how y'all feel about that? That women feel that there's a big number of women that feel unsafe with the male species when y'all are supposed to be the protectors. How y'all feel about that? How y'all feel about the way Meg got dragged when this whole situation first started? Like, it wasn't even a matter of if she was telling the truth or not. It was straight up just, y'all was going hard for Tory. Like, going hard for Tory. Same with the chick that spoke out about Trey Songz. I don't know, I can't remember who she was. And then Keke Palmer too. She spoke out about Trey Songz, and y'all dragged her. Why is it the first thought in y'all head like, oh, the woman is wrong in the situation, or she lying, or is something going on with her? Not condemning him, but it's something up with her. That victim shaming stuff, we gotta get out of that. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then the tables can be reversed. Y'all know I'm a shout out my boy Og. Y'all know I love me some August. And when he came out with his, he was all kind of bitches, and he a punk, and he's soft, and he ain't supposed to tell. Why? That man was hurt. That man felt taken advantage of. That man, you know what I'm saying? Like he's speaking his truth. Why he gotta be all that? Victim shaming. And again, all of this is allegedly, because there's always three sides to the story. And then y'all know Jada said her piece as well, and it was painted. Every time there's a situation, there's two stories painted, and we kind of stuck in the middle to figure out what's what. But it's like the person who's claiming victim is always initially just dragged. Like y'all drag these people. Why is that our first instinct to just drag them? Like that's sickening. It's sick. It's really sick. That's my piece on it. We gotta be better about how we protect one another. So yes, the conversation title was, your mother is a woman too. But at the same time, ladies, your father is a man. The way y'all treat some of these men is not how y'all treat y'all daddies, brothers, and the men in y'all life. We got to protect them too. We got to lift them up too. And, shout out to us, because most times we do. The narrative is very rare that a woman is not protective of a man, because we hold y'all down. But it does happen. I can say that. It does happen. So, we have to just be very mindful of how we're treating one another. Make sure that we're protecting one another. We're holding one another up. We're, keeping best interest of one another at all times. We got to be better people, man. 2020 been crazy. And I just say going into 2021, I just want to, encourage y'all to be the best versions of yourselves, whatever that may look like in your life. Dropping a little bit of challenging conversation your way every Thursday, just to get you thinking about different things, kind of put some stuff into perspective. And yeah, like always, if you have, more to say on the topics, hit me up. I'm always down to have this dialogue with y'all one-on-one. Y'all got my number personally, y'all want to talk about it, call me. Y'all my friend on IG or Facebook or even on YouTube, drop me a message, DM me. I answer everybody back. We can talk about it. I like to talk about this stuff. Y'all bring it to me, I bring it back to y'all. And if we want to take it a step further and do some one-on-one, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's have this conversation. I'm here for it. I think it only makes us all better at the end of the day. So I just challenge you, a couple of things I want you guys to think about as I get ready to wrap it up here. It's just, fellas, be mindful of the people in your life, the women in your life. Make sure that you're protecting them at all costs. Make sure you're respecting them at all costs. Treat all the women in your life, with the same respect that you would your mother. No means no. Don't be grabbing them up, filling them up just because they're dressing however they want to dress. It's not okay to call names and be disrespectful because they don't want to talk to you. Like, at what age, does that end? I remember a couple months ago, I had did a show about this dude kind of attacking me in the Publix parking lot. And a lot of the feedback I got back was, oh, well, that's just what you get when you're dealing with a hood nigga. What? Why is that normal? Why is that acceptable? Why is that? No. I don't care where you're from. You don't treat women like that. You don't grab them. You don't yell in their face, call them names, and it's too much. It's too much. Again, shout out to my village. The kings in my life, they're not doing that. They're not treating me like that. They're not treating no other. I've never seen them disrespect women. And I'm grateful for that, because can't nobody just do me any kind of way, because my brother gonna beat you up. But yeah, so just, be careful with that. Ladies, Stockholm Syndrome is real. Like, if you are, and this is me being serious. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, or somebody who is being harmed in their relationship, reach out to somebody, send help.